Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee of the Del Mar College District Board of Regents today on July 14th. First order of business is just a quorum check. Dr. Turner?
Here.
I believe Regent Hutchinson is joining us remotely. Regent Hutchinson?
Yes, I am. I'm here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I am Libby Averett, and I am also here. Would everybody please join us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If you will please join me in the Del Mar College Vision Statement. Del Mar College will be the premier choice for life-changing educational opportunities provided by responsive, innovative faculty and staff who empower students to improve local and global communities. Del Mar College is streaming live audio and video from the official Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee meeting on the college's website in real time, with the exception of portions of the meeting considered as closed session by statute. We have provided opportunity for public comment, and I am assuming that we have no public comment that has been submitted, so we will move ahead with our business today. The first item of business is approval of minutes from our last meeting, which was held on June 17th of 2021. Those minutes were included in our packet. Yes, and I did have a chance to review them as well. Is there any discussion of the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of June 17th?
I approve.
You move approval of the minutes?
Yeah, there we go.
Great. Is there a second?
And I will second that motion.
Thank you, Regent Hutchinson. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Everybody?
Aye.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate the housekeeping being taken care of. We are going to pick up where we left off at our last meeting, and just for purposes to recap a little bit, we are in the process of going through our bylaws, and Mr. Rivera did send us late last week the changes that he had made so far based on our previous conversation. Rather than rehashing those right now, I'd like us to go ahead and pick up where we left off so that hopefully we can get through the bylaws. That way Mr. Rivera can go through another draft, and we will then review that draft once we get through them all. The one thing I will say that I noticed was on item 2U, which we have had some discussion about regarding once a regent leaves, possible employment with a contractor. I'm not sure that the language that I saw in the most recent draft really captured our discussion. And Regent Hutchinson, you might help me with this a little bit, but I think where we were was sort of at that difficult place of realizing that we can't prohibit somebody's future business, but that I think we landed on some language around either a vow or a commitment, the action that we could actually take as a regent, as opposed to...
That's what I was understanding, that it would be something like, each regent commits, I like the word commits, to not do, and then make that statement.
Okay. So I think we're close. Right now it reads, it has been tweaked some. Right now it reads, upon the date a regent leaves office, a regent shall avoid for a period of 1 year taking employment or entering into a business relationship with any vendor, et cetera, et cetera. And so my recollection of that conversation is we weren't trying to pin down the regent to take an action upon leaving, but to take an action as a regent to commit that they wouldn't do that. Does that make sense? Yep.
Yeah, I have notes saying during.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Rivera, if you wouldn't mind just taking another stab at that.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to section 3, which is where we stopped because we thought we might have some discussion around this. Conflicts of interest and prohibited benefits. This has to do with gifts, favors, things of that nature. And because we've got Regent Hutchinson remote, I'll be somewhat systematic about calling on each of you so we don't talk over each other. Let's just stick with section 3, A, 1, 2, and 3 before we go on to section 4. My only comment here had to do with if there was a way to better define some of these parameters around gifts. We use the word excessive entertainment. That seems pretty subjective to me. And I'm all for limits. I'm all for pretty strict limits, personally.
I think in our discussion, though, we were really kind of okay with no accepting. So I was okay with no accepting gifts, either in kind or of money or excessive entertainment, because I just focused on the word not. Regents shall not accept gifts, and I was okay.
Talk in the mic, please.
I was
Yep.
okay with 0. So when you read as regents shall not accept gifts, so it didn't matter if it was a gift or if it's entertainment. So, I mean, you can maybe just take out the word excessive and just put entertainment.
Right, which would leave open the door to, it doesn't mean that I couldn't, for example, go to a Hooks game as long as I pay for it myself. Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with
mean,
that.
Yeah, I mean, you're just, and again, if you're going out with friends but you're not meeting with someone as a Del Mar person, you're going out as yourself. I mean, yeah. So I don't know.
It does.
Maybe we need to add something there. In the capacity of a board member, Regent shall not accept gifts, or something like that. I mean,
If we do that, then I think we open it up to somebody saying, well, I wasn't accepting the gift as a
Gotcha.
regent. It was a personal gift.
Yeah.
And those lines, I think, get pretty blurry. It does create a responsibility for us as regents, which I'm comfortable with, to ask some questions with people with whom we may socialize or who may invite us to dinner or to a function or something like that, and say, do you do any work with Del Mar? It does require us to educate ourselves more about who our contractors are, and I think that's okay. I think we should know that.
so what exactly are you having problems with the statement?
If we take out the word excessive
I
and
think
we
it's fine.
go to what you're saying is we accept no gifts, I'm okay
Right.
with us recommending that. I'm sure the board would have some discussion about it. Regent Hutchinson, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure what excessive entertainment is. That's it's just, you're right. It's vague, and it's also a little awkward. Like if you don't laugh too hard, it's not really entertainment or something. But I did wonder about. I mean, I guess we can come up with scenarios all the time. But some vendor has a 25th anniversary party, and 200 people are invited, and it's an open bar.
Right.
I mean, so I'm wondering if rather than going to don't accept excessive entertainment and gifts, if we went to nominal, or is that, that's just another way of putting in another vague amount. I don't know if it needs to be a dollar amount. I struggle with it too, but without a particular solution.
Yeah, that's tricky. Because the way it reads, it makes it clear that we should not accept gifts either in kind or of money from a vendor.
Yeah, I don't know why excessive only modifies
Pertains to entertainment, right.
Right.
If it was intentional, that it be 0 gifts, 0 in kind, 0 money, and then we got vague when we got to entertainment. I'm leaning towards just saying none at all, and the kind of scenario I'm coming up with would just not be really a gift. It's not a gift to me if 250 other people are at that party or something.
That's true.
It's just my thought there.
It's a good thought.
Any other guidance, Augie, from any other college? Because this has got to be a common.
It is, and I was going to say, let me go back. I mean, I've heard what you're saying, and I want to go back to the penal code that's got the actual language and see if I can, I mean, I don't think that says excessive, in the penal code. And let me see if I can come up with something that tightens this up for you. It's just a little too broad. I mean, I was even looking at, it says any unauthorized gifts, services, or other benefits. So it leaves open what is authorized,
Right. Just know that while I suspect that the penal code is probably less stringent than we would like to be.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
You're just making a recommendation at this point, and,
Right.
and then for fuller discussion before the board.
Right.
So, but I just, I want to at least tighten it up for you so that it's not open to, like you said, Susan, vague interpretation. But I can do that. I'll tighten that up.
Okay. Dr. Turner, do you have any other comments about anything under Section 3?
No.
Regent Hutchinson, do you?
I do. I'm struggling a little bit, and I'm not saying there's that there isn't a difference, but this under A, the second and third sentences, one says, Regent shall not accept or solicit, give, favor, etc. And then the next paragraph says they shall not solicit, accept, or agree to accept. I'm just not sure the nuance between the two of those. I'm missing something, I think.
Susan, I'm not sure I'm seeing where exactly you are.
Okay.
Just took on that too.
Roman numeral 3A.
Okay.
After it goes through the public servants, I'm sorry, it's not the second, I think I miscounted sentences. It's after the following practices are listed. And then those last about 4.5 lines, there's 2 sentences, but they both talk about not accepting gifts, favors, or services.
Oh, I see. And the second one adds agree to accept, whereas the first one does not.
Right. So again, there may be a difference there. Is there a difference between accepting a gift and agreeing to accept a gift? Is that the only difference? One talks about being offered with the intent to influence, and one says benefits from exercising the powers and responsibilities. I don't know, they're different sentences, but I don't know why they're different.
They say the same thing.
Do they?
Yeah, I think they do.
Okay.
I think they do. Okay.
I mean, maybe add to the first sentence of those two, shall not accept or agree to accept or or solicit. If you want, if agree is a good word to have in there, maybe just not necessarily take out one of those sentences, but combine them.
I got it.
Okay.
That makes sense. So you see that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
And then the only others thing in addition to what's already been said is, okay, now we're in Roman number 3A2. It says Regents shall not solicit an employee for favors, services, or other benefits, and then goes on to say, as those shall constitute a conflict of interest. I mean, that's kind of why all of these things are being
Right.
stated. I think I would stop after other benefits.
Okay.
Period. You're not going to
Agreed.
accept them. You don't need to explain why.
Right. Good.
It's because it's in this section.
I was going to say that's why they're under the conflicts of interest section. Exactly.
Yeah, you could probably just put a
Yeah,
period.
other than
after
that's it.
benefits.
Okay. I saw that. That's good to edit.
Good. We like simple. Thank you, Susan.
Okay, little editing.
Anything under A3, Susan?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, let's move on to section 4, board elections and appointments. Dr. Turner, do you have anything in this section?
All I had was just looking at the other colleges. At the end goes, all appointments by the board shall be made in accordance with board policy and state law, and that's the only thing that I kind of added at at the opening paragraph. So, because I was just kind of looking how things were worded and so forth.
Regent Turner, are you talking about it like an opening paragraph or as an
Yes.
additional I?
The
the-
opening paragraph
Okay.
at the end. I was just comparing it to the other colleges, and that was something that I kind of picked up on.
It's a
Good
nice
point.
catch-all.
Yes, good point. Thank you. Regent Hutchinson?
Yes, my first comment, let's see, they're really pretty minor comments, if I understand everything correctly. Okay, paragraph D, it says, persons interested in being appointed to the board shall submit a resume and support documents to the president. I'm just wondering, what are support documents, but I don't want to define them. So can we reference that a resume and support documents as outlined by the board, so that each time, I mean, I can imagine one time there's a board that wants lots of letters of recommendation, and maybe somebody else wants, copies of their tax returns. I don't know.
Sure, that's a good idea.
How about that? So just give the board a chance to define what those supporting documents are. And then paragraph E, I think, should say the Board of Regents shall review the resumes and documents, because we've said they're giving more than a resume, so we're going to review all of those and then select the number to be interviewed. That makes sense. So just after resumes, add and documents.
Good, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And then F, and I got a little fumbly here, but the Board of Regents shall interview, you talk about candidates among the applicants. I think we're going to interview the selected applicants. We've just said we select applicants, so now we're going to interview the selected applicants and make an appointment.
Good.
I mean, reread, does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
And then paragraph H, I think I would take out the parenthesis in the first line, just a person elected or appointed must remain a resident of the taxing district. And I had a question, let's see, I guess the second sentence said a board member who ceases to reside in the taxing district shall be deemed to have vacated. I'm embarrassed that I'm not 100% sure the answer to this question as to whether someone in a particular district must stay in that district.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
And I think we ought to say that.
Or in the single-member district.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
for
that either.
single member district representatives must reside, or else they will deem to have vacated their office.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was my guess, but I thought maybe I'm wrong. Okay, that's it.
Okay, good. Mr. Rivera, do you have anything else for us in that section? Okay, moving on to section 5, officers of the board. Dr. Turner, do you have anything in this section?
Was the duplicate taken out? Maybe.
Could you say that again?
Well, I wasn't sure because I had printer issues, so I don't have the latest copy. Was there was a duplicate, was it taken out?
Okay, I'm good.
That's fine. So D, because D and G were duplicates. Was
T
that?
and G, okay.
Yeah. Perform additional
right.
functions, support.
There you go.
So I was just wondering.
Right, so
Sorry.
Dr.
Okay.
Turner's point is that D and G are very, and they still are in the
Yeah,
most,
okay.
in the recently revised
Yeah.
version, whether we need D and G.
Yeah, perform additional functions as specified. Perform other such duties if it's the same.
Right.
So D and G were duplicates.
Very similar. Okay,
Yes.
good.
So I
But-
like
but-
G
I'm sorry,
better.
Can I just add in there? I don't
Yes.
have a G. You talking about G is in Garnet?
Be under officers, be E on the new copy.
Oh,
E1G.
E1, yeah, G, E2, E3. There's,
Now I see it. Thank you. Thank you.
yes. So,
Okay,
and
Y'all prefer one over the other, or?
I like G better. But I didn't
It's
like
a
the
little
word,
broader.
I didn't like the word imposed. I like the word specified.
Okay.
I don't know if it matters to you or not. Impose just means, you know what I mean? Like I didn't like the word imposed.
okay. Anything under vice co-chairs or the other officers?
On F.
On
one-
3,
yeah,
E3F?
Yeah, E1F. It says recommends all appointments of all should be all board committees and chairpersons. And again, I was just lining it with other colleges. Not sure if that was a big deal or not. That clarification. Sorry, I was kind of nitpicky.
No, that's okay. E1F. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to say all board committees.
If you don't, and yeah, if you change the impose to specify, that's what the other colleges were using too. I didn't like that word. And yeah, and just the same for 3. Yes, if you delete D and keep the F.
Right, so under section E3,
Yes.
D and F are very similar, so we
Yeah,
could
if you-
probably go with one.
Just to have it clean.
Yes.
So that was.
Regents, I just noticed something. So under the chair of the board, again, let me direct you to subpart F, recommends the appointment of all board committees and chairpersons. You actually have that set up in the next section where you have the chair being the position that's authorized to appoint. So it doesn't just recommend, but
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So instead of saying recommends, I would just put appoints all
Mhm.
board
Okay.
and just.
is that okay with everybody? That- And this, I think
Keeps it
these
flowing.
items that we have under E1 and F are ones that we've added.
Yes.
And what's under the next section you've had before, so that's,
Mm.
I think that's right.
Mr. Rivera, is it common at other colleges that that authority falls on the chair solely? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Sorry.
It's okay. Okay. Susan, are you okay with that?
I am.
Yes.
Great. Susan, do you have any comments under the duties of, or just the officers, not just the duties, but under section V, section 5?
I did. I had a question of under Roman numeral 5B, as in boy. I'm not sure about what's in brackets. Is it any officer of the board may be removed for cause or majority vote? It seemed like maybe this should read, if I'm correct, any officer of the board may be removed for cause by resolution approved by a majority of the vote at a regularly monthly meeting.
I don't know why that's added. I don't have notes on that. On 5B.
Hang on a second.
Augie's looking.
So does that
Okay.
mean that we can remove anybody as long as we have 5 votes?
Yeah, that's what it says.
No, it's still, for cause
For
is still
cause.
there.
And that's defined.
I just didn't know what the brackets or majority vote for cause or majority. Yeah, it did. You're right. It does sound like a little bit like you can do it for
Yeah.
cause or just randomly by majority. I don't know what that bracket was there for.
So the version I have does not contain brackets. It just says any officer of the
Ah.
board may be removed for cause by resolution of a majority of the board at a regular monthly meeting.
They added that.
Well, that sounds much better.
Yeah, I'd rather have the original. I don't know why we added the majority vote.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from, but
We-
I guess what I'm kind of trying to look at here quickly is that I have a question whether you can even do that. Yeah, so I don't think you can.
Oh,
Can we just
I don't-
delete
I don't
that
think
back
you can-
out?
Yeah, we might have to delete B.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
I don't think we need to delete B. We just need to
Or
delete
delete
or
the-
majority vote. I think we just need to get rid of that and stay with the original.
well,
Oh,
what
hang
he's
on,
saying
I'm
is
sorry.
we
Well, but
may
you're-
not have the
I'm sorry, I'm
authority to
sorry.
remove an officer.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I'm confusing myself.
Oh,
Regent
I see.
Hutchison, it has to do with, I guess we should say remove from office.
Right,
So you're not removing
Right.
the regent.
no, but from
From the-
serving as
yeah.
an officer.
Right.
Okay, so you will work on this.
I will work on this and clean it up so that it's clear even to the lawyer that what we're talking about is you as a board by majority vote.
Would
can
be able to remove the chair or the vice chair or the secretary.
Right,
Correct,
not from service. as a
Yeah,
regent.
no, but from their position.
as an officer. Okay,
that's really it for me.
okay. Okay, let's go to Roman numeral 6, committees of the board. I didn't have anything here. Dr. Turner, do you have anything?
Well, I guess we took out the listings, so I guess it was from the board meeting. Okay.
Right,
But that doesn't mean that we're not going to have committees. We just weren't going to list them.
that's correct.
Now, are these considered, I was just wondering on the title, are we considered an ad hoc committee? So should that language be in here? Is that because are we you know what I mean? So I was just looking at I just kind of, the chair and the board of regents may establish committees or ad hoc committees as needed. Because is that a title? Or are you just saying that we're ad hoc? Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Doesn't matter.
No, I think-
Doesn't change anything. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a specialty thing or not.
No, whether it's ad hoc or standing.
Okay, so it means
permanent.
all the same thing.
Right.
Okay,
Right, I think you're okay.
I didn't know that. I wasn't sure.
And just to point out, Regent Turner, again, what you all have done is you've set up an internal review process where you're gonna look at it and, on a regular basis, look to see whether you're gonna continue to operate as a committee of the whole or whether you need to set up committees.
Regent Hutchison, do you have anything on this section? I actually do
I do
have a
not.
couple of things now.
What, I do not.
Okay, under section D, section 6D, we talk about, if a non-committee board member shows up and there's a quorum, that the committee shall be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Now we have chosen on this committee to operate under the Open Meetings Act, even though by law, are we required to? No. But we chose to in the interest of transparency and thought that it was the right thing to do. Is it worth saying that committees can choose to hold public meetings? My preference is the committees do have public meetings. However, I understand that that's not required by law. But I wouldn't want future committees to think that somehow they had to meet
Right.
not in accordance with open meetings law.
Or do we want to set that standard?
Are you saying, well, there may be some committees, frankly, given the sensitive nature, for example, I can
That's what I
imagine
thought.
Internet Security
Yeah.
Committee, that you wouldn't want to go through the formality of setting it up. What you're going to do is go into closed session beginning and then,
lot.
So given that legally, since it's less than a quorum, you wouldn't need to post it, wouldn't make sense to require that kind of a committee to do that. On the other hand, what you're saying, I mean, for example, this committee, you all deemed it important enough to where you wanted it to be in the public and give the opportunity to the public and advance notice to conduct yourselves in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. So maybe, I mean, a committee may?
Right, I'm just
Something-
asking for
yeah.
some very short language
Okay.
that makes it clear that a committee may choose to open, to be, conduct business in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act.
Understand.
Yep.
Libby, do I hear you sort of changing that
Uh,
last sentence
But-
to say that the,
Oh, I see.
any board meeting may be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, and if any non-committee board members' attendance results in a quorum, must be conducted under the Texas Open Meetings Act, something like that?
Yes.
But look at F. She brought
Yeah,
up
I want
F.
to recognize Miss McDonald.
I think F establishes that a committee can establish their own procedures for conducting business. So your procedure is, do you want to post it from the beginning as under Texas Open Meetings, or do you want to not? So that might be that phrase you're looking for. And I think that's when we put this together based off of, this came from some of the recommendations from Weaver
Right.
for committees. That's what is, the committee gets to decide what procedures and how you want to conduct your business.
Great, thank you.
You're
Thank you for that perspective.
Yeah, I think, let's work up something specific though, because I think your question's a very good one. I think generally, as Ms. McDonald's pointed out, you know, you can set up how you want to handle yourselves, but that's kind of a, whether you conduct it as a public meeting under Open Meetings Act or just as a committee meeting without going through those formalities, is a question that's going to come up every time.
Sure.
And so maybe we want to be a little more, let me see what we can come up with.
Sure, it may be appropriate to add to F, you know, that this includes conducting business in accordance with the Open Meetings Act if the committee so chooses.
Got it.
Okay, good, thank you.
And I had a thing with just maybe a cleanup on 6B. It goes within the first quarter of an odd number year. Well, do you really need to have that, or you just, I mean, I just thought maybe delete that part and start with the board may, not will, but may review and determine whether to operate as a committee of the whole or to establish board committees. Then delete that next section and just go, the board may create or dissolve committees as it deems appropriate. Does it matter if it's an odd or a number year? I mean, I just feel like, or is that,
There's
I don't
some
know.
history here.
is there?
There-
Okay.
The timing on that is that comes after an election.
Okay,
and then-
so-
So that's when you're sort of reforming. And I think that was the idea behind the first quarter, was that you wanted to do it relatively shortly after all of that transition occurred.
So, but what happens to like next year? We want it, there's an interest, or there's, you know, something that needs to be looked at. You can't,
No, you can.
I just thought the language, you know, okay.
This
But
goes
that's
to the
fine.
specific question
Gotcha.
of whether you operate as a committee of the whole, or whether you want to set up a committee structure again.
Okay. All right, wasn't sure.
Yeah, very
Okay.
specific question.
And you want to keep the word will review. Okay. Versus may.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
okay, good. Anything else
Yeah.
under
No, that
committees?
was it. I just, you know, I'm learning.
Okay, no, that's great, thank you. Okay, Roman numeral 7, meetings. Regent Hutchinson, I'll start with you. Did you have anything in this section?
My question was, I'll just start with with letter A, is to be always being held at 1 p.m. Have we not sometimes, I'm thinking, had a workshop in the morning and then moved to a regular meeting that started a little bit early, like 11 or something?
I have
Am I-
it on here.
Am I thinking that's just part of the workshop again, and that we never start a regular meeting until 1?
This is what your bylaw says, but your practice has become
Yeah,
to where you kind of transition into the regular meeting before noon, so,
Yes, and I added that to on here too. I looked at that too, and I used to put it like a comma after month and put unless otherwise specified by the board, because that's what some of the other colleges had in there. So
that would be an appropriate way to handle it.
would that be fine with you?
Yep, sounds like a good fix.
Could we leave that up to the chair? I wouldn't like have to have a board vote that we are meeting at a different time, but could we make
By
it
the
subject
board
to
chair?
the chairs?
Or by the chair? You just don't put the word board. You just put chair.
Yeah,
Board
Okay.
can you read the language again, Regent Turner?
So I put a
Unless-
comma after month and put unless otherwise specified by the chair.
Okay.
Is that appropriate?
Yes,
Okay.
that's good.
That's consistent also with the chair's authority to call
Yes.
meetings.
Right.
Okay, great.
Okay, Susan, what else?
Yeah, and as I'm looking, I'm not sure if that's part of, maybe we just repeated what's in C. I mean, it says without amendments, the board chair may make a temporary change of time, date, or location of the regular meeting. Obviously, because we just sort of missed that, maybe if we put those two together. The regular morning
point.
meeting will be 1 o'clock, but the board chair may make a temporary change.
Oh, I see.
Yes, good.
It's on the next
It
page.
shortens it too. That's good.
Right, exactly.
So
Other than that, I don't have anything else for Roman numeral 7.
Great.
so we can just delete C.
Or he'll combine them. He'll
Combine
combine
them.
A and C.
Got it.
Dr. Turner, did you have anything else under meetings?
I don't know, maybe. Under F, like notice of meetings, regular meetings, is that the same as open meetings? Versus closed meetings, emergency meetings, workshops? Do we have any strategic planning meetings, or is that part of a workshop? I wasn't quite sure of all the entities that's involved in the meeting, so I didn't know if we needed to define all the different meetings that occurs or no. I wasn't sure.
I don't,
So that was
I don't
just-
think so.
Do we need to specify or our regular meetings, whether it's closed or open, or no? Because usually closed meetings would be just executive session, and that would be part of the meeting, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I would think of regular meetings, anything that's not an emergency meeting.
exactly.
Okay.
For purposes of notice, there are only,
Okay.
there are only really two types of meetings. A regular
Regular.
meeting, which can be a call meeting or a workshop or
Okay.
an emergency.
All right. All right.
So in that same section, and I don't know if this was just my printed version, but there's a typo in 48 hours.
That's been corrected.
Okay.
I know
It said folly
it
8.
said folly in the
Folly.
original. But it's been corrected on this one, the one that
Okay.
he gave me. Yeah,
Okay.
it says 40.
And then my only other point is section G, the workshop meetings of the Board of Regents shall be held on the same day as the regular board meetings. I think we've had some workshops where
Yeah.
we have not had a board meeting.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
So let's just
You're correct.
reword that somehow
Or you can take it out,
or take it out.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's-
yeah.
because you do have workshop meetings sometimes that do not occur on the same day as
Right.
your regular board
But you
meeting.
still want to keep workshop in here, so, right?
I don't think that's necessary to say when they're going to be.
Just for transparency, though, that we have these type of meetings, or no? Because they are open to the public, correct?
They are.
So could we?
You
And
wanna-
so they'd be still subject to those notices, yeah.
Do you want, since it's a regular part of your meeting, would it make sense for you all to have just a small, insert there, 2 sentence, just describing workshop meetings? The board may meet in workshop.
Sure. One sentence would be good.
One
One
sentence.
sentence.
Okay,
Perfect.
I can put it into one.
Very clear.
I can name
Okay.
that rule in one sentence. Okay,
And it doesn't have to be tied to the regular board meeting.
right.
Okay, good. Okay, anything else under meetings? Okay, section 8, Regent email and official communications. Dr. Turner, do you have anything here? It's just a few paragraphs. We have talked about this in our board meetings, the need for us to use our official Delmar email.
The only thing that I put, I don't see it on here. On the note, on the note part, I just put it for a question. I just put for how long.
Right, that's a very good point.
Okay.
We had talked
How
earlier
long?
about document retention, and if we could include
How long do we
here
have to keep?
for
Yeah.
our edification and reminding us how long we need to keep those.
I'll insert the specific
Okay.
citation for that.
That was the only thing I had was.
On that paragraph, I would just take out the first word note. I don't know why. We have a lot
Right.
of things in here that repeat the law. I would just take that out.
Okay. Anything else, Regent Hutchinson?
No, that's it.
Okay. Moving on to section 9, social media and posting on personal sites.
I had nothing.
Regent Hutchinson, did you have anything here?
I'm okay with this one.
Yes, me too. Okay, good. Moving right along. Section 10, order of business. Thank you for changing mission statement to vision statement. We had talked about that. I didn't see anything here. Did you all?
We move public comments to where you currently hold them.
Yeah, I did notice that. So although we don't say specifically it has to be in this order, but I think it would be a good idea to move the public comments up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I think we worked on this before, that the chair of the board shall set the order of business, which may include the following to make it, this is what you're supposed to do, but again, it's not going against policy.
Right.
You got to change it up.
Gives us a little leeway.
And that happens. Sometimes the chair will move
Sure.
the order of business with your consent.
It would be just G when you put recognition and the accolades. I would just add maybe introductions because we have had introductions. I don't know if that's needed or not, but when you do your recognitions and different things that are occurring, add introductions. I don't know. I just noticed other colleges had it, but I don't know if that was necessary or not.
I think recognition covers it.
Introductions?
Yeah,
They're
I
not
mean-
being recognized for anything. We're just introducing them, maybe new staff, new people.
Right, we're recognizing them as being here. I'm trying to keep it simple.
I agree.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I don't really matter. I was just throwing it out there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to 11.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, Dr. Turner.
No, you're good. Do we have to have anything in here about purchasing vendor contracts or anything like that? Because I noticed, or is that just part of staff reports?
Or it probably falls under regular agenda items.
Okay.
Other questions?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I'm learning.
No, you're doing great. Thank you. Section 11, citizen, student, faculty, and staff participation.
I had some stuff on this.
My only question, we've done so many more things digitally, is if do we need to do something about saying that you have to present a matter of concern by registering at the door? If we're doing as we have been phone, we have other ways of saying they want to be put on, they want to be able to have a general comment, is that right?
In person or telephone.
You see what I'm, yeah.
And on chapter 11 of your policies, it actually has a different title. And chapter 11 says public comment during board meetings. So I didn't know if there's a way we can align those two titles. I think it's on this one. Chapter 11. When I was looking through here and comparing and making sure everything was aligned, we had it listed as,
It's chapter 2 of the board policies.
oh, yeah, I was just looking, I
In
found
this.
okay, but I got it from here in the last document, so
Okay.
it's just a notation for me. But the titles were different. I didn't know if there's a way to align them.
Right, Dr. Turner's referencing section B 2.1.5
Thank
in the
you.
board policies,
Yes.
public comment during board meeting.
Yes.
So, Mr. Rivera, if you'll just take a look at that, please, see if it makes sense,
To align them.
yeah, to harmonize those a bit further.
Definitely.
Okay,
And I didn't know. I know it's on here. I have it marked saying that these comments will be heard before action is taken and will not exceed the time specified by the chair. I didn't know if we wanted to set time for items that were on the agenda versus items not on the agenda, or is it? I didn't know. Is it just 3 minutes or is it 5 minutes? If it's always 3 minutes, should we state that on here or not, or do you just want to leave it open? That was just a question, just referring to other colleges. Or is that just, especially with handouts too, or will handouts be delivered through all of us, or how does that happen? And I was just referring to San Jacinto, page 9 and page 10.
Okay.
So,
well, so the,
does it matter?
and we're not there yet, but the policies is pretty they are pretty detailed in how public comment should operate, and
But the public isn't going to read this, so I just didn't know if you just needed to use a one, you know what I mean?
I think we'll discuss that further when we
Get here?
review
Okay.
chapter, yes,
Chapter- okay.
chapter 2
Two.
in the board policies,
Okay.
because Mr. Rivera did note that that section is not in the bylaws, so we'll need to talk about, that's
Okay.
one of the things that
Okay.
Ms. McDonald and Mr.
All right.
Rivera wanted us to
All right.
discuss, about whether we needed to repeat everything in the bylaws that's
Right.
outlined in the policies. That, yes,
Oh.
ma'am. Ms. McDonald, she's coming to the mic. Thank you.
And just as a suggestion, there are some other
Can you
things-
talk into the
I'm
mic just a
sorry.
little bit
There
more?
are some other things that we will rearrange, like it's not a president of the faculty council, it's a chair. So there could be some things that we bring back to you, so we're
Okay.
correcting some things that are in place now versus how they used to be. Okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful opportunity to clean up all of that, so thank you.
And can I make another note?
Please.
To be consistent with policy, you know how a couple years ago in our policy manual, we changed all references of president to CEO?
Yes,
Maybe you should think about doing that in your bylaws so it would be consistent with policy, because policy
Yeah.
now references CEO instead of president.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
just
yes,
think about it.
please. Very good point. Okay. Any other comments about section Roman numeral 11? Number 12, rules of order. Seems pretty straightforward. 13, minutes of proceedings.
Instead of delivered, emailed, because everything's through email. On 13A, shall be mailed or emailed to the members.
Well, they're not emailed, they're posted right now. That's how they're delivered, is they're posted through board effects.
Right.
All right, but they're not mailed either. So,
I just don't know if we need mailed. Delivered, Right, delivered encompasses whatever method we may
Okay.
get.
You
Okay.
might
The
if the internet
minutes.
crashes and then you know.
That's
whether
right,
you
that's
know.
true.
Okay.
And we go back to,
Um,
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I just think that mailed, as long as they're delivered, whether
Right.
it's carrier
That makes
pigeon
sense.
or, posted on board effects.
And I haven't, on section B there, I haven't been the secretary very long, but I'm not sure I've signed any minutes. I have not. Do we need them to be signed?
Actually, Augie is the one that his initials are on.
Okay, so can we delete
Signed by the
signed by the secretary?
We can.
Okay, because I'm not signing them.
Yeah. Again, that's.
I will if you want me to.
So let me be clear, Regents. So 13A, we're okay, you're okay with saying shall be delivered,
Yes.
okay? And on the minutes, shall be approved by the board. And this was a practice that you began, that the board began a few years ago where I actually review them.
Okay.
And that's designated, as Ms. Bettis points out. I don't know whether you want to put that in there or not, just to show that shall be reviewed by, it's not necessary. You can just say shall be approved by the board, but I mean, that's what your practice is right now. They're reviewed by me, that's designated.
Reviewed by the council.
And signed by the general counsel. That's assuming we always have a general counsel. Pardon
How
me?
about secretary or general counsel?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. Let's do that. Thank you. And the official minutes are bound? No.
No. I'm gonna-
the,
Was a practice?
right.
Not anymore.
So delete C.
So I do think we should have some reference to where the minutes are
Yes.
kept and available.
We do have the minutes. We do have the minutes in our office.
It may just be electronically.
No, we
I mean,
do have-
do we keep paper copies?
Yes,
We do.
So,
we do in the board packet.
all right, so the official minutes are kept in the administrative offices? But we just delete the word bound?
Let's just rewrite it to reflect whatever the practice is. How about that?
This is obviously archaic, and we do have bound volumes, I mean, that are bound. There's a binding on them, and they're big, and they've got all the
We used
minutes.
to bind all of the minutes.
don't
Right.
anymore.
Now we keep the minutes printed in the board packet.
That's fine.
So we'll.
Just reword it to whatever we're
whatever it is,
doing.
got it. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next session, rules of decorum. We need to behave. Dr. Turner, did you have anything here? Regent Hutchinson?
I didn't. I think this is pretty good.
Yep. Okay. 15, Regent misconduct. Regent Hutchinson, anything here?
I don't believe I did. I don't see anything right now.
Let's see.
Okay.
Regents, I'll point out that, I mean, you do have a duplicate, and going back to section 1, board duties and responsibilities, subpart I, that's on page 2. That's essentially the same provision as what you have here under regent misconduct.
Okay,
My recommendation is you keep it under 15, regent misconduct, because it makes more sense, and that you take it out of I.
okay.
That's fine with me. Regent Hutchinson, you okay with that?
I am.
Okay. Okay, section 16, board member training. Any comments there?
The only thing that I have is discussing expenditures and evaluation. I didn't notice anything on here about self-evaluation, the board evaluates itself, or about how expenditures are, especially during our conferences, because we'll have to turn in our slips, and how expenditures are, just for transparency so the public knows. I don't know if that's something we want to add, because it's not in here at all. So I just noticed, again, when I was reviewing our Chapter 11s and other people's, that we're kind of missing a little tidbit on expenditures and about self-evaluation, because I think the board should be evaluating it ourselves.
I'm okay with that.
I think
I
that
mean,
makes sense.
procedures is kind of a catch-all, but I think we think of that more in terms of how we conduct business as opposed to some of the administrative.
And I didn't know if it would go under board member training or under maybe duties or responsibilities. I don't know where you would put that, where it would flow. But I just, I just put it on there I just tagged it at the end. Expenditure.
Dr. Turner brings up a good point under responsibilities too, that do we need some language around our responsibilities in terms of I'm not talking the detailed practice in terms of how we turn in receipts and stuff, but should there be some sort of overarching language about that we
Comply with policy.
we comply with policies, that we are mindful of receipts, things like that, that we're going to remember that we're
yeah.
spending public dollars.
Part of that financial responsibility.
Yes.
I mean, and-
Again, not trying to put 1, 2, 3, this
No,
is,
yeah.
by this day we turn in this receipt,
No.
but that we are
Just-
responsible and good stewards
Yeah, there you go.
of the money.
And I'm assuming the board does evaluate ourselves, right? We do.
We
some
do,
type of-
yes.
So that might be
Yep.
added somewhere in here. Just not the whole lot. Just Yes.
My thinking is that it would be appropriate to fit under board duties and responsibilities unless you guys want a separate.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Yes.
I'd like to recognize Ms. McDonald.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Under policy B 3.14 travel, it does specifically state that the board follows that policy for the travel and reimbursement.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Okay.
you.
So it's
Okay.
B 3.14 travel under the regular policy manual.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I was a little ambitious in what I thought we could get done today, but I'm mindful of the time, but we have made it through the bylaws once, which is great. A couple of things though, before we move on. One is, Mr. Rivera and I had talked a little bit about our current practice right now of every year when we undergo our ethics training, we as a board sign a separate code of ethics that somewhat mirrors what we've talked about, doesn't completely. And I'd like Dr. Turner, you and Regent Hutchinson to be thinking about whether or not we need to sign that specific document, or can we sign a document that says we have reviewed yet again the code of ethics that is contained within our bylaws, as opposed to a separate code. We don't really need to repeat it. Did I capture that correctly, Mr. Rivera? He's shaking his head yes.
I am, yes, I'm sorry. I forget
we-
Regent Hutchinson's
Yeah,
on.
there'll be like 3 lines. I
Right.
review
Right.
and I can.
Right.
I comply and.
And that takes out the problem that you have right now where you've got some variances between the code of ethics you sign and what's actually in your bylaws.
It
Right.
needs to be. Yeah.
Now, Regent Hutchinson, how do you feel about that, since you've served on prior committees that reviewed the bylaws?
I'm okay with that. I agree. It helps with consistency. I'm thinking about some hybrid where we could say I've reviewed and agreed with all policies, including the code of ethics. You know, if there's something we wanted to bolster, particularly about ethics, which said including the duty to uphold ourselves to the highest ethics or something like that, that just really emphasized that we're we know that part, not just the start meetings on time part, but the ethical part.
Okay, good.
That's a great suggestion.
Yes,
Mary.
thank you. Okay, that would be great.
We'll work on that.
And then the other sort of gap, if you will, and forgive me if this is in some of our policies, Ms. McDonald, I'm not sure if it is, but I don't think currently we sign any sort of financial disclosure documents. And I'm not suggesting a full opening of all of our business. However, it might be appropriate for us to file some sort of limited financial disclosure statement that at least acknowledges where we work, where we get our income, our primary income, what boards or committees we may serve on,
Just for transparency.
and potential conflicts.
Yes.
I know that there are, as I said, Mr. Rivera and I had some conversations. There are some practices out there with some pretty exhaustive financial disclosure statements. I'm personally not advocating for those right now, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea for the public to know where we make a living.
Public education, I mean, my salary's on there. You just type in my name, and you know where I work and how much
Sure.
I make every year, because
Sure.
taxpayers' money,
Sure.
you know. But also at the state, the Ethics Commission, they have a statement that most appointees and state officials, they have to sign.
Mhm.
I've had a number for 10 years, and I had to fill it out every May.
Is there a, Mr. Rivera, can you put together something for us to consider at our next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I think we can do that just for your consideration. Not the full-blown personal financial
No.
statement that's required of some state officers, but something along the lines of what you just said.
Okay.
Is there anything else that any of you would like to see in that? I can put something together, it'd be short.
Regent Hutchinson, do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I agree that I really liked the things that you listed, boards that we're on, either nonprofit even or for-profit organizations and our businesses. That's worth disclosing.
Right, bank boards,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what we did not get to today is something that Mr. Rivera sent to us, I believe, yesterday, which is the board policies under Chapter 2, Administrative Organization. And I'm sorry that we did not get to that today. I'm afraid that if we tried right now, we'd be here another hour. So I don't want to do that. However, Mr. Rivera, I do want to turn it over to you because I think you and Ms. McDonald both were looking for some guidance from us about what needs to be repeated in the bylaws, what doesn't. Talk to us a little bit about what you need from us.
Yeah, we've gone through the policy because you're on track. I mean, you've gone through the bylaws. You've got a pretty good, near final. I mean, at least you've got all your concepts here. And what I said was, let's get through that. Let's get you through that, and then we'll go back and make sure that the policies are consistent and actually accurately reflect what you have in your bylaws. And as we started doing that, we're not really sure. I don't know how organically the policy actually began to grow. I wasn't part of that. We don't know. I think it even predates, Ms. McDonald's coming on board. So we've included for you, I think we updated it, but what you have in front of you is a copy of the policies under Chapter 2, under Administrative Organization, that refer to the Regents. And you'll see that they're similar to, but in some cases not exactly like what you have in your bylaws. And you'll see what's included in here. We're just trying to get a sense of what we needs to be in policies. I mean, there may be no need for any of this. We're kind of trying to figure out where to go to next. And we can, if you don't have any specific thoughts, because you're sitting here, as well, looking at us, and we're the policy and legal people for the college, we can commit to bringing something to you that doesn't just duplicate, subjects, and that what we're trying to do is come up with one document where you go to and that's where everything's at.
Yes.
Because legally, your bylaws, even though they're called bylaws, they are policy. Once you
Yes.
adopt them, they have the same weight and effect as policies. So we're trying to prevent duplication and redundancy, and most importantly, inconsistency, right? So I'm comfortable that you're gonna take care of the inconsistency. We're not gonna let anything get out where something ends up being different, as between your policy and bylaws. And so we're kind of struggling with redundancy. What do we really need to include in policy? So that's why we said, let's bring it to the committee and have you all give us your thoughts, if any, on it.
So the one thought I have is I go back to our committee charter. And our charter actually didn't talk about policies. Our charter talked about our board's bylaws and statement of conduct and ethics for Harmony. And so I wonder if that goes beyond the scope of this first step right now. Do you know what I'm saying? that I'm happy
We
to
could,
do
yeah.
it. I'm happy to do it. But
Maybe.
I'm wondering if I need some clarification from the chair.
Maybe we can do this, because again, policy would be something frankly that we would look at first anyway. That would be, that would originate from us. It may be outside of what you all need to do. Maybe let us come up with something for your next meeting, for you at least to take a look at, that we might recommend to the entire board, and see if you have any thoughts about that, but not get bogged down in redoing the policies.
Right. I mean, I'm sure the chair and the board will not have any problem with us being prepared to align our policies with the recommendations that come out of this committee,
sense.
assuming the board approves them. But our charge was not specifically to
Gotcha.
redo the policies.
Okay.
Ms. McDonald?
I think what Ms. Rivera we had talked about was to have your bylaws speak for themselves, and anything in policy to not duplicate something, but also your policy will point to your bylaws. So it will, just like we did with the change we made, or the board made a few months ago with the committees. We took all of the details out of the policy. Well, actually, there was no policy. We took it out of the bylaws, but the only reference we did in policy was that the board could have committees. Go look at the bylaws. So it was very, like, 2 or 3 sentences.
Okay.
So that's what we're kind of looking at, is to not have that duplication.
Right.
But also, if you do change your bylaws, it won't necessarily mean we have to change policy,
Right.
because the policy is going to point back to your bylaws.
That's
So
right.
That's kind of where we're trying to help.
Yeah.
Okay.
To help. get-
Good.
Okay.
Good. Regent Hutchinson, do you have any comments about that?
I feel very, very aligned with what you're saying. Is that I don't think we need to go beyond the scope, as long as we can reach into that area to be consistent with the bylaws. But otherwise, I'm fine with that.
Okay, good. Okay, so that means then for our next meeting, we will have a new draft, the latest draft of our bylaws, based on our conversations today, that we will review. And Mr. Rivera, what is a realistic date by which you can get that to us, hopefully for us to review a little bit before the meeting?
Sure. I can commit to getting it to you all by Monday.
Great.
I'm not been on vacation yet, so I may be taking off tomorrow afternoon, and thank you all, by the way, I made the request to have you meet earlier, because I may be out tomorrow afternoon and Friday. But by Monday, we can get you a redraft with all of this, plus the proposed financial statement
Great.
for you all to take a look at for your meeting next Thursday.
Great. And will you review too, please, just to make sure that we have taken into consideration all of the Weaver recommendations? I
Yes.
think we did most of that today, but
Right.
just to make sure that we did cover all of that
Okay.
from their earlier presentation several months ago. Are we all okay with meeting next Thursday, the 22nd at 4:30?
Yes.
Regent Hutchinson, does that work for you?
It does. Do you expect the meeting to be an hour and a half?
I think we can stick to an hour. We seem to be doing fairly well with doing that because we can also meet on the 29th if we need to. We still have a little bit of time before the August meeting.
Okay, because I will need to be, I will be there in person, but I'll need to be out of there by 5:30. Would you want to start more like 4?
Do that.
That's fine with me.
I can start at
That's fine.
4, yes. Staff, is that okay? I hate
It'd
to,
be nice if we can just do another run through.
Sure.
One setting.
I'm seeing,
Score problem.
I'm seeing thumbs up from everybody, so,
No, everybody's thumbs up here, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
4 o'clock then, next
Okay.
Thursday, July 22nd. Thank you for that suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other business? Mr. Rivera?
Good job.
Ms. McDonald? We're good? Staff? Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all so much for your attention.
Thank you, Regent Hutchinson. Hope you're having a good time.
I am. I'm
Good.
glad I was able to join now, though. Take care.
Yes, thank you, thanks.